Greetings, YouTubers! Geek Errant here to give you guys a spoiler-free review of Marvel Avengers Infinity War and a recommendation of whether or not you should go check it out in theaters. I like to do my movie reviews through a 5-point system, which goes over 5 elements of a film to give you an overall idea of how it is. So, let's jump into this like a sling ring portal. If you're familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, then you know that Disney and Marvel Studios have a well-developed craft of weaving the stories of their films together like an intricate tapestry, while still making them completely satisfying films to watch by themselves, usually without leaving the viewer too lost without the other films. Avengers Infinity War is a bit of an exception to this, in that the conflict of the film and the entry points of its key characters have all been built up to from nearly all the previous films. If this is the first Marvel movie you're seeing, firstly, where have you been for the last 10 years? And secondly, don't hesitate to go see it anyway. The primary conflict of the plot is summarized fairly early on in the film, and a general impression of the characters is given clearly enough that you'll get who to root for and who to root against. It'll also give you a reason to go back and watch the previous films to understand more about whom the characters are and what they've been through to get to that point. Shameless self-promotion, click the link to check out my Marvel Cinematic Universe Movie Marathon Watch Guide. The story of the film flows with almost flawless pacing, drawing you straight into the narrative and giving you a pretty clear gauge of what the protagonists are up against right from the get-go. From the film's opening, it moves from point to point and perspective to perspective smoothly, slowing down only enough to be appropriate for the tones of the moment, and then smoothly picking back up for the action as it unfolds. The very definition of a thrill ride of a movie. It also raises one or two interesting philosophical debates, and believe me, Disney pulled no punches for this film. The roller coaster isn't just in the pacing, it's in the emotion too. This film has been put together wonderfully, with shot compositions that always seem to catch the moments in just the right way. Wide shots that give you the breadth and scope of the locale settings, and interesting close shots to bring you into the action of a fight and see the impact of those hits, as well as catching the emotion of each pivotal moment in just the right way, letting it sink in just long enough to feel it before moving forward. Color and lighting excellently accentuate the emotional tones of each scene as well, giving the right visual contrast for what's happening through the story. Appropriately for a comic book movie, they've made an art of engaging you not only through what's happening plot-wise, but also by having the right feel when you take the scene in visually. While there have definitely been enough jokes made about Thanos' computer-generated appearance on the net, I felt it didn't take long for my mind to accept that this is simply what this character looks like. I think they even did a good job of adding the little details such as skin textures and subtle movements of the facial features and close shots, so that it didn't feel like a fake creature on the screen. The glints of the eyes, the curve of the smile, the wrinkles and tightness of the skin and grimaces all felt natural, and the character's emotions are well conveyed through the veil of CGI. Beyond just the character of Thanos, the texture and motion of things like particles and debris from character superpowers being used and their impact on the environments also felt natural. It's almost like the effects specialist had some kind of background in physics, because nothing feels like it shouldn't move or flow the way that it does, unless it's intentionally meant to feel alien or physics-defying. This extends to physical character movements as well, including flying, climbing, jumping, running. I'd assume they added as much motion capture to it as they could, because muscle movement, flexibility, as well as motion through the environment all feel right. For a movie about beings with superhuman capabilities, they do a fantastic job of making everything that happens on screen feel believable and relatively normal to what you would expect. Not only are the visuals top-notch, but the sound is fantastic also. Disney and Marvel definitely have their game down to a science when it comes to conveying impact through not only sight, but music and sound. The sound effects in the film definitely add to the immersion of it, keeping appropriate volume levels for the scene while also adding emotional layers not only through the musical score, but also through effects, such as those associated with the abilities the characters employ and the equipment they use. It's got to be a challenge to come up with convincing sounds for energy blasts and the clash of weapons made of unique metals, but throughout the movie, nothing ever felt out of place or too far-fetched and fake sounding. The music of Infinity War upholds the quality of the movie just as well as the visuals and sound effects. Great ebb and flow to match the emotions on screen, including well-executed build-ups, blood-pumping scores to follow the action sequences, and well-matched pieces for the somber moments. Not to mention, they also know when to hold back and allow a deeper feel to certain scenes by having minimal or no music and sound for those heavier scenes, allowing your emotions and thoughts to dive fully into the moment and connect you even more to the story and what the characters are going through. So is it theater worthy? Would I recommend going to see Infinity War while it's still in theaters? Yes. In big, bold, blinking neon letters 1,000 times, yes. In fact, I went and saw it 3 times its opening weekend, 2 of those times pretty much back to back, and I enjoyed it just as much with each watch, feeling the impact of the events as they unfolded even deeper on the subsequent watches, because even though I knew it was coming, I had had time to process the effects and implications of the events, which just added even more to the enjoyment of the story and the connection to the characters. If you haven't already, go to the theater at your next earliest convenience and make sure you experience this film on the big screen, because it's an experience worth having. Don't wait for it to come to Blu-ray or streaming service. Do yourself a favor and treat yourself to this movie before it's done at the box office. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I plan on doing more in the future. If you guys have any feedback for me, any points that you feel like I should cover in a review, maybe something I should elaborate on more, please go ahead and leave those suggestions down in the comments section. And also, if you guys don't mind, make sure you hit the like button and help me out, and subscribe to my channel for more fun stuff. Catch you on the flip side.